shocks. So, as you guys know, some of you guys know, in the last live stream, I upgraded these two rear shocks, and in this live stream, I'm going to be upgrading these two front shocks. So, we're going to be working on that. So far, the only issue I've really had with the back shocks is they're still so just firm, and they're just not really quite working the way I want. I think I need to put some more oil in this first one. This first one's really just catching, and it's really, really firm. It needs to be kind of loosened up a little bit. So I'm probably going to add a little more oil in there. It just seems to be very dry, just not quite working correctly. So I'm going to add more oil in these, but probably not in this live stream. We'll probably do that in the next live stream. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be replacing these two front shocks, and that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to start. In order to replace these shocks, I have to get rid of this steering thing right here in order to not strip the screws. So let's start getting rid of that. And yeah, so this piece is going to be a little more frustrating to take off. The front is the hardest part, but I think we'll be able to get in pretty easily as long as I don't completely lose my screwdriver here. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to completely take off the front one. And this is one of the hardest pieces because you have to take off the front steering rod here in order to keep everything from getting in the way. It really makes it easier. If you don't do that, you can likely strip screws and stuff like that. So that's kind of the reason why. We're going to take this off. Okay. We're going to go to the front here. We're going to take this one off as well. Okay, we're still working on it. We're almost getting it here. Okay, there's the next one. And we're going to pull out this last one here. And that'll be it for the steering rod. And then once we get that one out, from there we will just start upgrading the shocks. Next, I'm going to fill these shocks with oil. So I think what I've done wrong on the other shocks is I put a little bit too much oil in those ones. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit less in the second set. So yeah, from here, I'm just going to start putting more oil in the shocks, and then we're just going to upgrade them completely on the front end. There we go. So this is free to completely come off here. If I can get it. Oh, what? Oh. May have taken off the wrong screws. We're going to put these ones back in. I did take off the wrong screws. That's all good. We just have to make sure that we put them in right on the next side here. I took out the wrong screws. I was supposed to go from the underneath part here, but I took out the wrong ones. It's on the steering piece right here. That's all good. It'll be really fast to put them back in. And then from here, we're just going to take off the front shocks, but we need to remove the steering. I don't really know what you call this, actually, steering. This whole piece right here, this piece needs to come completely off. So what we did wrong is we removed the screws in the wrong area. We're supposed to go from the bottom here and remove the screws. So we're going to start by doing that. Okay. The screws are really small, and so they come out really fast, to be completely honest. It's really nice. Okay, almost there. Okay, sweet. So we got that one out. And we're going to put the screw back in here because I just want to make sure that this is all steady the way I want it to be. Try not to lose a screw while we're at it. So yeah, RC cars, this one has been actually really nice so far. I haven't had any issues with the Bronco. I haven't done any crazy upgrades with it. The biggest upgrades I've done is just the shocks, and also we've got the high clearance links here on the bottom. These high clearance links are actually from Traxxas, and so I installed these. It makes it really nice, and so I'm really glad I got that done. Next, I just have to install the shocks. I think that's really all I'm going to do for this guy. I could install some nice set of portal axles if I wanted to. I could install some portal axles on the front and back if I really wanted to. If I really wanted to get this thing going really good, but I think portal axles can be tough because some portal axles are either you score really big and the portal axles work really long, or the gears get stripped in the back. So basically, what I'm just doing is I'm just trusting that I know that the stock portal axles. If you guys don't know what a portal axle is, that is this part right here. This whole section right here. This is a portal axle, and some people like to get brass portal axles. Mostly because it kind of gives more width to the car. It adds more width, and it kind of gives it more of a steady base instead. And so that's kind of the reason a lot of people do it. I added them on to my Ford F-150. You will see the blue Ford F-150, the really small one, right behind me. It's the 1/18 scale. Right behind me on top there, you'll see it. And that one I added portal axles onto, except the portal axles actually broke. I had some gears that got stripped on the rear portal axle, and those ones cost me $70. So having a portal axle that cost me $70 break down just like that, I was not a fan of that, and I had to completely I had to go back to stock. It was nice while I had them because they did definitely give more width, which is exactly what I wanted, but it didn't quite work out, unfortunately. So it's all good though. It happens, and I had to go back to stock. Going back to stock was not a pain. It took a long time. You building you a girlfriend? Okay. And if that was the question, then no. Alright, so this is tough. Let me explain to you guys what I'm trying to figure out here. This is one of the toughest things I might do. And I'm really afraid I'm going to strip the screw. And this happens every single time. It's only these areas that you have. Alright, let me show you. Okay, right here, you have the shock and there's a screw. Just because this whole steering section is right in the way, I almost can't remove it. I almost need like an Allen key. I do have an Allen key. I'm wondering if that would be better. Let me see if I can do that. I want to slowly start to do that because when I do this, here's what happens. Look, this gets in the way, and so when I'm unscrewing it at an angle. And the issue with that is it's just causing it to strip because I can't get the correct angle. I'm going to grab an Allen key in order to get underneath there. I should have done that with the two rear ones. This rear one, I do still have an issue, but there isn't a big issue on this side. So I ended up getting past that. But I'm going to have to grab an Allen key. Give me a second. I'm going to have to grab my whole kit here for a second. And then start by pulling out my Allen keys. I have a lot of nice tools in here. So we're just going to start with, there we go. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is the right size. I have a few sizes too small, so let's see if this is the right size. And it's still kind of a pain. Yeah, this is just tough. It gets to the point when you have to like really focus, and I'm not sure what to do here. Because I don't want to break anything. I mean, obviously, it might just honestly be easier to remove this whole piece right here in order to actually get it in there. Here's what I might have to do. I might actually have to do that. Okay. I think that's what we're going to do. Unfortunately, I actually started unscrewing that part, and I put the screw back in because I didn't actually think I was going to need to do that. We're going to start by completely taking off both of these. We'll be able to put them back on later, but this is going to be kind of a pain because it just takes a little bit longer. It's not too bad, again, because it's just, you know, it makes it easier for me in the end. But, okay, that's one removed. We're going to start doing it one at a time as well. I don't want to go crazy and take the whole thing apart and do both. It actually makes my job a whole lot harder when I try to do it that way. So I'm going to start by completely removing each one of these sides. Okay, there we go. both these screws removed, and then we're going to take off. Oh. Okay, it's not quite what I had in mind. Okay, so let me show you guys what's going on here. Oh, let's not. Okay, this is going to be really, really bad if I mess this up, because this is the whole front portal axle. If I mess this up, this is going to be, this is going to keep the car from driving. Okay, this is what's going on. This needs to go all the way in there, and it's not going in. I've messed something up. You can't just push it in as hard as you can. You have to just kind of... Okay, there we go. So, it looks like my plan to remove that was actually kind of a bad idea, because that's going to take more than I needed. Goodness, we're going to try... We're just going to try to... Oh my... We have to get this in correctly, and trying to pull the screw out, but it's just being a complete pain. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff that really tests your patience, because I'm going to have to get in here and I have to apply pressure on it too. It's not just like a simple... Here's what I may have to do. This just keeps happening, and honestly, I really don't want to do this, because I keep doing this. I keep stripping the screws every single time this happens, and it's not something I want to happen. But, oh, welcome back. I'm glad you're back on the live stream. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so maybe it's just this bit that's actually getting kind of stripped, or it's a screw. But honestly, every single time I do this on these ends, on this side of the car, to remove the shocks, I have an issue. I always strip these ones, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Every time I have to grab the needle nose pliers, and then pull it out instead of stripping the whole screw, which might end up actually happening. I might have to do that. I did that last time too. See, I've got the needle nose pliers right here, because last time I stripped the screw and I couldn't get it out. This always happens. It's always these long screws that I really need, that are really important. I have a bunch of extra ones, but I don't want to have to do this because it breaks this stuff. Okay, here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to take this out with the needle nose pliers, unfortunately. I'm going to try to keep looking up at the live stream too, because I think people keep messaging and I'm not quite seeing it. But that's all good. It's tough to be able to work on my car. Hang on. Was there something I can do? It's kind of hard for you guys to see this area here. Let me do this. There you go. Now you guys can actually see what I'm working on. This could be really easy to completely mess up, because if I don't do this right, I've got to pull out the screw with these needle nose pliers and not break everything else, and also not pull off the top of the screw. I'm trying to get the screw out. And right now, this is not what I want to be happening. If this actually happens, and I ended up breaking this, I would have to buy a completely new front portal axle. And that is the last thing I actually want to do right now. I'll figure it out. It's fine. Because, yeah, this is what's happening, you know, it's causing it to... I don't even know if it is pulling it out at all. Because the more I turn this, I'm afraid I'm going to break this steering piece right here. And I definitely do not want to do that. We're just going to keep trying and see how far we can get it out with the pliers. I know this is not the normal way to do it, but because I've stripped it, there really isn't many other ways to do it. This is not the preferred way. This may be the best way because I've stripped it in order to get it out, but this is definitely not the preferred way. Every time that happens, every time I do that with the pliers, I'm afraid I'm going to completely destroy the top of the screw. If I leave the threaded part in there, that's going to completely mess it up. I trust that I'll be able to get it out, though. So I wanted to ask, how many of you guys actually do have RC cars? Because I think a lot of people that watch my channel do have RC cars, but some people don't. So I'm just kind of curious to know how many of you guys do have RC cars. And if you do have RC cars, what kind of RC cars? Just completely curious to know, because I have a whole collection of RC cars. I've been working on them, and I really enjoy having RC cars, But I think, yeah, just kind of curious. Some people do, some people don't. Some people like them. I'm definitely one of those people. It's one of my hobbies for sure. I don't have a lot of time for hobbies because I do have a job, but I think hobbies are good. And especially if you're a YouTuber, having a hobby makes YouTube a whole lot easier to have a hobby and be able to do on YouTube. Because I feel like being able to do a hobby on YouTube is something that's really handy, Honestly, this is taking a long time. I just wish I could get the screw out of here without having to do this. This is where it really takes patience, because somehow I've stripped the screw and it's just not coming out. It's going to take a long time with this plier. I'm trying to figure out how to make my live streams better, make them more interactive. I guess I could just kind of be here and ask questions and read the chat more, but I feel like oftentimes that's just trying to learn something, honestly. I'm just trying to learn how to make it more interactive. Sometimes it's easier when someone else comments first to make it interactive. Sometimes it's what it is. Sometimes it just takes someone to ask a question. Sometimes I need to create a poll. What is this? This is a new widget. I haven't seen this on here. Oh, what? Oh, you can stream with a game? Is this new? It's got to be new. I have not seen this here. That makes it a whole lot easier for new streamers. Let me kind of look at some of these games. Oh. Yes, I have a few games you can stream. That's interesting. So you can play pool or some of these games that they have set up. That's not a bad idea. That's kind of cool. I'm kind of glad they did that because I feel like it's something it would. Oh, they have Crossy Roads that you can play too while streaming. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't do it personally because I'm not a gaming YouTuber, but I think it's really nice to have something like that. Hi, welcome. Sorry, I haven't responded to you that fast. I was reading something. Okay, so for now, let me show you guys exactly what I've got. I know it's kind of hard to see, but the screw here is almost enough where I can just start pulling it out now with the pliers. We're almost there. I am slowly unthreading it with the pliers, and we're getting there. It's a really long screw. That's the thing. These screws are so difficult. I've stripped so many of these screws because they're so long and they get in the way. Most of it's my fault too because I put them in there and I must have put them in too tight. So that's a lesson for later on. Don't put them in that tight. That's all good. We'll figure it out. But I'm making it work with these pliers. I can already see the threads, so that's good. As long as we're unthreading it, all I need to do is get the other shock in here. This is tough, honestly. Trying not to strip screws on RC cars can be so difficult. I think Traxxas is pretty good about not screwing in their screws too tight. When you buy it, it's like kind of makes it easier. But it's also, this is my fault because I screwed them back in after fixing it. And I screwed them in way too tight. So that's something for me to learn. Oh, I just lost something. What did I lose? I felt something fall. Something just fell. Oh. Oh, okay, that's not good. That's really not good. So I lost a little pin. Here's what's supposed to happen. This is supposed to sit here, and there's supposed to be a pin that goes in here. I've lost the pin. That's what's just fallen. Okay, let's find that pin. It's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack, to be completely honest. Trying to find that is going to be super difficult. I could try to find it later. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Because I had that pin fall out, I'm going to screw this piece back in. I really don't want to cause more issues there. That could be really bad. I'm going to try to screw this back in. I'm going to get this. Here we go. Okay. Let me show you guys what just happened. Okay, so this piece, I'm going to try to show you as best as I can. In this little rod for the tire, there's a little tiny hole. You guys see that little tiny hole in there? That little tiny hole is filled with the pin. On top of that pin rests this little piece, and that's the little hex that the tires connect to. I've lost that pin. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to screw this piece back in and then find the pin after I'm finished live streaming. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. You know, the amount of things that happen while you're just trying to... Okay, these ones go in there. I know where these go. I tracked the screws. Okay, here we go. I'm going to need my screwdriver here. I wish I could hold this up for you guys, but I'm dealing with a really tiny screw, so it's going to be really difficult. And I've got a really shaky hand for whatever reason. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to screw this in so we do not lose this piece. This is going to be the hardest piece. If I lose that, that's going to be the whole thing for the whole, so you have the rear portal axle. If I lose this piece, the steering piece right here, that's going to cause a lot of issues. And I do not want to cause those issues right now. So I'm just going to start by screwing this in, getting this finished so I don't have to mess with that later. I might have just lost a screw. Nope, I found it. I guess that's why it's smart to kind of hold it up here while I do it. I should put it on the desk while I'm trying to do it, but it's also just difficult enough. It's difficult enough to do it in my hands. Doing it on the desk just makes it a whole lot harder. So for those of you who are new and are just watching the stream, what I'm doing right now is I'm installing some new shocks onto my RC car. Now, normally, I'm running into a few issues. Normally, this would not be as difficult as it looks. Oh my. But I keep messing everything up. I keep putting things on backwards like I just did right now. That's going to need to be fixed. All right, I'll do that later. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to put new shocks on here. I'm running into issues like stripped screws, and I'm running into issues like putting stuff on backwards. So bear with me here. But we are going to try to get this RC car back and running again. I'm going to try to make sure I'm twisting it the right way. So the reason why right now I'm doing this with pliers is because if I do it because the screw is stripped, I can't use these screws anymore, or the screwdriver that I was using. So I have to use these pliers in order to take this out. But here's what I'm going to do. I just put this on completely backwards. So I'm going to take this off again. And then switch it around the way it's supposed to be. You would think I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, but when you're live streaming, it's a whole lot more difficult to focus on the live stream and your RC car. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, though. I'll get it figured out. I know what I'm doing. I've taken apart a car almost completely apart and redone it at times, so I do know what I'm doing. Alright, so we've got that screw out. We're going to flip it around the way it's supposed to be now. Okay, and now we're going to put the screws back in there. Make sure everything's good. It is perfect. Let's put this back in there. Oh yeah, you're a fan of RC? That's good. I am. Yeah, I'm working on. I've been working on RC a lot recently. It's actually one of the things that I've been working on a lot is just crawlers. Crawlers I know how to do because I've studied the crawler RC cars and stuff. These RC cars are really easy for me to do because I've kind of learned the whole mechanism. I've learned where the shocks go. I've learned where the links go. Everything. I've learned just the whole car itself. Now, when you add a bigger car to that equation, like some of these cars behind me are 1/10 scale cars. These cars are built a little bit different than the 1/18 scale cars. These 1/18 scale cars are made to be able to crawl, whereas those cars are made to be able to go fast. And there is a huge difference from the way they're built, from the chassis, from their motor, their whole system, honestly. And it has to be different in order for them to be that way. So, I've been doing mostly work on crawlers because I understand these cars because I've done a lot of work on them before. Whereas with the bigger cars, the parts are obviously more expensive. And I just don't quite want to get into that, if you know what I mean. Like they're expensive enough, it's difficult to buy those parts. I think they can range from like most of the time those parts can be closer to $50. Right now, the main issue I have with one of those bigger cars is my really big. You guys can see like that the big blue car I have back there. It's a Ford Raptor. It's the biggest blue car right there. It's a Ford Raptor, and I have issues with the. I have stripped a gear in the center drive line, so that needs to be fixed. I haven't got to it yet. I did that about a year ago, and I need to fix it still. But because I don't really understand necessarily how the car goes, I think it's better that I'm just still trying to work on these crawlers. I am going to get to it, but that specific car, that Traxxas Ford Raptor, has actually been taken off stock, off the whole website. It's not on the website anymore. They completely removed it, and they replaced it with a completely different car. And so I have to go and find a way to get those parts. I know I can get those parts off eBay. I can still get them off Traxxas. I just have to call someone and get a part number first. It is still possible, but I am still going to work on learning that car. I'm going to take some time. The first thing I did before working on all these upgrades to this car, this is my Ford Bronco. And before I started working on upgrades to this car, I took the whole car, just looked at it. Before I did anything to it, I just looked at it, kind of memorized every part, where everything goes, all the screws, every piece to the car. And then I started taking it apart. And when I took it apart, I was ready because I understood the car. I understood, okay, this is the mechanism. This is where this goes. Now, this piece broke, so let's go and fix the mechanism. You know what I mean? When you start to study the car, when you start to understand everything about it. And that's basically what I've done. Um, so yeah, this is taking a lot longer than I wanted to. I was hoping to have both the front shocks replaced by now, but it's all a game of patience, to be completely honest. You can't just try to rush through something and get it done fast. It honestly just has to be done carefully and patiently. And when you have something like this happen, when you have a screw stripped, you can't use a screwdriver anymore, so you have to use pliers. It's going to take time, especially for these longer screws. But this is all part of the process. You learn something, and that's good. So, I've learned a lot about these cars since I've been working on them. I've learned the whole mechanism, to be completely honest. All right, so let me show you guys where we're at. The screw, can you guys see it? Maybe. Yeah, you guys can see it right there. That's the screw. The screw is almost out, so I'm going to keep twisting it until I get it completely out. And then we're almost there. It's almost coming out. And then I'm going to hope I have good luck with the other one. I'm hoping the other one will be really easy. This one has not, and I do not like the fact that I've had to unscrew it, but... Alright, so here's what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to keep streaming for a little while because I haven't even got the screw out yet. But when I get the screw out, I think I'm just going to end the stream here. The only reason being is because I've got to go to work, actually, as a cook. So I'm going to go cook, but I got to finish streaming first. So I'm going to pull the screw out, and then next stream, I'm going to try to finish the shocks. I know it's been kind of a difficult thing. I normally stream for about 30 to 35 minutes every day. So you guys can catch me tomorrow for streaming for 30 minutes. Come back to see the shocks get replaced. And we have almost got the screw out. So we're going to keep pulling it out here. I'm just unthreading it with my fingers now. We've got it loose enough. There we go. So let me guys show you how bad this was stripped. I know you guys can't really tell, but it was stripped pretty bad. So I'm going to pull off this shock. All right. And then we're going to replace it with this one right here. This is a aluminum, fully aluminum, 59 millimeter shock. So that'll be perfect. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the stream here just because I've got off one of the shocks. I'm assuming the other one's going to be a pretty big pain as well. So I'm just going to end up coming back tomorrow. And also I've got this high clearance link that's kind of being a pain right now. So that's all good. We're going to come back tomorrow and then finish adding these shocks onto here. And I will see you guys all tomorrow in the next stream. Thanks for coming by to watch, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.